Why high-achieving men struggle to find the right girlfriend or wife. If you're a man who's doing well in your career or your business, but you can't find or keep the right woman, this video is for you. If most areas in your life are going already good, you work at a good job, you run your business, you're at a stage in life where you would really like to have your own family. Maybe you already have kids and you'd like to merge families. There is a lot of responsibilities. Maybe you have parents to take care of, you're going to the gym, life is pretty busy. You might tell yourself, I don't really have time for dating. Or you go on dates and you get really frustrated because they don't really go the way you want them to go. Because you're either only meeting the women that you're not that excited about and they like you back, but the ones you actually want, they don't like you back, or you're not getting enough dates with the right women in the first place. Let's address the time thing first. You have 112 waking hours available to yourself every single week, my friend. I know you're busy, but I've worked with 7, 8, 9-figure business owners who are extremely busy. If they've been able to do this, you are too. I've worked with surgeons. I've worked with people in the finance industry, people who are doing well, who are crushing it in most areas. If they can do it, you can do it too. Tony Robbins says, time is emotion. If something is important enough for us, we make the time. We block the time in our Google Calendar or maybe Outlook. No judgment here. And we take the actions necessary. Time is always a lie. Maybe you think that dating apps just aren't working. Well, they aren't working for you, my friend. Your profile most likely sucks. All you have to do is get good professional photography, maybe a little bit of social proof, maybe a little bit of lifestyle, maybe some status enhancing elements, get the premium versions, learn how to text. It is not rocket science. I recently did it again with a business owner in New York. He used to get very, very poor results within a matter of days of building his profile, 100 matches, out of which, in his own words, 70% were real quality. If they can do it, you can do it too. And dating apps, by the way, only take 15 minutes a day of effort for one quality date every single week. You should be able to get at least one quality date every single week from dating apps alone. Now, then you have 2 more channels. You have Instagram, which you probably didn't even consider to be a possibility. You can just send direct messages to women. If you live in New York, for example, I was just there last year teaching a seminar. I was just in Miami teaching a seminar beginning of December. Then you go to Miami smoothie shop, Brickell smoothie shop, or Manhattan smoothie shop. You go to their followers, you find women and you DM them. You can send safely at least 5 to 10 direct messages per day. It's a lot of effort. Pay somebody to do it for you or just do it yourself. It's not that much effort. It's a reliable strategy. I had a client in Toronto. He was getting at least 3-4 dates a week just from sending messages on Instagram. Again, you want to have 12 good pictures on your Instagram so the marketing about yourself is really good. And then just send a couple of messages a day. It's not that difficult. On Hinge, for example, you can just run boosts. You can run an advertisement about yourself and literally just pay to get dates. It's the right way to pay to get quality dates. You just get Hinge and then you run a 24-hour boost or a 1-hour boost at 7 p.m. in the evening, a couple of times a week. And if your profile is really good, you will get quality matches. That's a fact. Now, again, disclaimer, some men, if you're in the bottom 20% of looks, you will have to rely on in-person approaches plus a good Instagram. It's fine. You can still find a quality relationship. Don't worry. But for most men, dating apps are a fantastic channel. What else might you think? You might think that the dating scene is a little bit screwed. Women in the US, women in the UK, wherever you happen to be in the world. I've worked with 500 to 600 clients from 45 countries over the last 6 years. But if you're in the US, you might say, women in the US are so entitled. There's just no good women left. That's complete nonsense. You've watched too many podcasts of bitter men who generalize, because what happens is, Tony Robbins says, our brain distorts, deletes, and generalizes. We have an experience, and if it's a really impactful emotional experience, a negative one, for example, a woman cheating on you, or a woman leaving you for another man, or she's simply not texting back, or you simply not being successful in your dating, your relationship life, then our brain goes ahead and creates a generalization saying all women XYZ. all women suck, all women engage in infidelity, women have no good values left, they're all masculine. That is complete nonsense. There are some amazing women. Think about this. There's 300 million people in the US, 50 million women in the US in your age bracket alone. Can you find one? Do you think you can find one who's right for you? Absolutely you can, but not if you keep making excuses, not if you keep externalizing. It is a biological fact that if you take the right actions as a high achiever, like you've done in your career or your business or your body, that you will be able to get a good result here as well. But you can't just think that just because you're doing well, that the result, in other words, a high-quality relationship, will come by itself. But I'm the man. Don't they all say, just become a high-value man and then you'll attract the right woman? No, that's factually incorrect, as you've seen. And it's funny, there are people on the internet saying, just be the guy. Yes, you want to be a kind, hardworking, good man, but what's the greatest differentiator? Two things, mindset and communication, that's it. Why are there literal billionaires in the world who are overweight? Not because they're not intelligent enough, they obviously are. Not because they're not hardworking enough, they obviously are. What's missing? They have internal conflicts, blind spots, mistakes they're making, they're not even aware they're making, that are stopping them from taking the right actions which will produce the result. Because don't forget, a quality relationship is an outcome just like anything else. You can get it with just enough action and the right actions. Again, this is not rocket science. Am I going to find somebody? Maybe. It's not a lottery. Losing weight, building muscle is not a lottery. If you're not building muscle, I don't care what kind of an ectomorph you are, it's because you're not consuming enough protein and you're not training right. That's a fact. Do genetics play a role? Yeah, of course. For sure. But you can get the outcome of a quality, fulfilling relationship. There's 15 million women in the US alone. Can you find one? Absolutely, you can. All you need to do is understand that mindset and communication is the great differentiator, because what's happened is you've learned to communicate in a very professional way to get to where you are. You've had to go through a lot of pain, and you're now in a good position. The problem is you're not very fun and lighthearted. Maybe you are. Maybe you have some other blind spots in your communication. What I do with clients is we basically look at exactly how they communicate with a woman on a first date, on a dating app, on a second date, on a phone call, and then we eliminate those blind spots. It doesn't have to be me. I am the best in the world at this. Let's face it. If you want me to help you with that, personally apply for a free call. But somebody has to help you get rid of these blind spots. Because think about it. She already met you. She was already interested in you. And then eventually she lost interest. So the only differentiator is your communication, if it's not compatibility. Because the only two reasons why it would ever end with a woman is, one, because of a lack of compatibility. You're just not right for one another. Or she just doesn't like you that much. That also falls under compatibility. Or she doesn't have great communication skills. That also falls under a lack of compatibility. Or she has some destructive habits, NPD, BPD, whatever it may be, emotional as well. That's a lack of compatibility. Or if you are compatible, then it means you must have messed it up by the way you communicated. That is the only delta. You fix that, boom, you'll be able to find an amazing woman. No problem. But just being the type of guy is not enough. You can keep being that guy, you can keep working, you can keep going to the gym, and maybe the odd social occasion on the weekend, and you'll still be single in 5 years. You will still be single in 10 years. And maybe you look around, maybe most of your friends are already married in relationships, you don't really have anybody to go out with. Well, first of all, you don't even have to go to bars or clubs to find the right one. Certain bars, maybe. Most clubs and most bars you probably don't even want to go to meet quality women. You can use dating apps, Instagram, and you can approach in person during the day. You can introduce yourself in everyday situations, but you have approach anxiety, which is interesting because you're extremely confident in your career. You're extremely confident in your business. But for some reason, if there's a beautiful woman, you make excuses, don't you? She might have a boyfriend. She's walking too fast. She's too beautiful. She's not beautiful enough. She has a serious facial expression. She has headphones in. Are you going to let Apple AirPods stop you from procreating? Are you that type of man? Now, me teasing you a little bit like that is not going to solve the root cause of your approach anxiety. You've got to overcome that with progressive desensitization. We've talked about that at length. There's many different ways to overcome that. You can either just increase your confidence so massively that it doesn't matter who's in front of you. And there's some of the best tools that I've learned over the last 15 years in personal development, some of which I share on this channel and some of which I go way, way, way deeper in my coaching program. Or you can just use progressive desensitization, as in just talk to women who aren't that attractive. But let me tell you something. If you don't overcome your approach anxiety, you can find the right woman. But you won't be the most confident version of yourself. And it will have an impact on how you show up in the relationship. It's a fact. Because if she knows that you can approach, that makes her appreciate you more. This is an uncomfortable fact of life. Listen to me now. I'm not one of those to say that you should play manipulative games, but competition anxiety is real. It's a fact. You may resist the fact that gravity exists, but if I drop this microphone right now, it will fall to the floor, no matter whether I believe in gravity or not. There are just certain dynamics, certain forces that are at play between men and women that either increase or decrease attraction. And competition anxiety is one of them. If she knows you could replace her, not to say that you'll ever mention that, if she knows, just because she knows you can approach, because maybe you approach her, or maybe she's heard you tell stories in a very effective way without bragging, without trying to make her jealous, but she knows you're the type of man, she will appreciate and respect you more, because it is a fact of life that we only appreciate the things that we are at some level afraid to lose. And you will negotiate for your needs differently in a relationship. You'll set boundaries differently. You will elicit red flags much sooner. That doesn't mean you have to run around and do hundreds of thousands of cold approaches, but as a man, don't you want to pass on that lesson to your son someday? Don't you want to be the kind of man who walks the talk? You're already a high achiever. You're already above average in a lot of ways, but you haven't overcome your approach anxiety. And again, you can find the right woman without that, but I would encourage you to take a couple of months, couple of weeks to just fix it. Because I can tell you something. In Dubai, in New York, in Miami, in Dublin, no matter where you are in the world, there's tons of men with money, and they can't approach. That does something to your confidence, because you can pretend to be cool. You can lie to people about the quantity as well as quality of women you've been with. You can pretend you don't have an issue, but you know you still suck at it. But there's nothing wrong with who you are. It's just a skill set. I used to as well. I was married to a woman who wasn't right for me because I just stumbled into a relationship because of proximity and convenience and a little bit of chemistry. And I went through hell. Not because she's a bad person, but because a lack of compatibility, as you know from your previous relationships, hurts. It causes pain. Maybe she doesn't apologize. Maybe she doesn't assume the responsibility for her own actions. I would rather have you not lose millions more, waste months or even years more of your life. I would love for you to experience true fulfillment and happiness and support every day. It's really possible. You can find a woman who you're truly physically attracted to and you're compatible with personality-wise, values-wise, somebody you're really excited about. Perfect doesn't exist, but really amazing. That's absolutely possible if you're willing to invest a couple of hours a week. And if you're not willing to invest a few hours a week, you deserve to stay single. Now, if you would like me to help you personally find the right girlfriend or wife, click the link underneath this video and apply for a free initial consultation. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.